Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Ludovica Costagliola. I'm a developer at Workload Automation, and today I'm going to talk about Ansible integration inside IBM Workload Automation. First, I want to make a brief recap about Ansible, considering Phil has shown everything about Ansible in a presentation right before lunch. But I just want to say briefly that Ansible is an automation engine mainly used for IT tasks like configuration management, application deployment, or cloud provisioning. It follows a master-slave architecture. So we have one host, that is the Ansible master, that has Ansible installed on it. And it sends instructions to remote hosts, the Ansible slaves, using SSH. Ansible works with simple concept. The instructions to execute are called tasks. They are grouped in place, and every play is executed towards a specific set of hosts taken from an inventory. And multiple plays can be contained in a playbook, and the playbook is the starting point for Ansible execution. Another important feature regarding Ansible is playbook idempotency. A second run of a playbook won't make the same changes done in the first run, leaving the machine in a desired state. This feature is one of the reasons why the execution of a playbook can be integrated very easily in a job stream. To accomplish this, the Ansible plugin has been developed. With Ansible integration, complex scenarios can be executed in an automatic way, and most of all, everything is controlled from a single point. Ansible can be integrated easily, as I've already said, in a job stream, and the output properties can be used to facilitate variable passing to and from Ansible job. The Ansible job itself exports some output properties that can be used by subsequent jobs. At last, real-time monitoring is provided in a compact and readable format. This is useful for a user to know exactly how the playbook execution is going. A possible scenario that uses the Ansible integration is represented in this slide. We can create a virtual machine with the Amazon EC2 integration. Then we can configure the machine using Ansible, for example, to use it as an Hadoop node. After this, we can perform data computation with the Hadoop integration available in EWA. And once the computation has been performed, we can destroy the virtual machine and free resources. Another example could be the first same two steps about creating a virtual machine and configure it with Ansible, but this time we may use it to perform some machine learning training. So with Ansible we install it like pandas or something like that, and then we can use this just a newly created machine to train a dataset. This plugin is already available on the Automation Hub. The dynamic agent that will execute the job will be the Ansible master and has Ansible installed on it. It will exchange keys, SSH keys, with all the Ansible slaves to send commands on to them. The playbook is executed using the Ansible command line. So the Ansible playbook command takes one or multiple inventories, some extra arguments in case the playbook contains some variables, and the path to the playbook. The other command you see on the screen is an additional feature we have added in Ansible job definition. If this feature is selected, Ansible will perform a ping towards all hosts in every inventory. And in case one of these hosts is unreachable, the Ansible playbook won't start. But this can be useful in case we need to be sure that every host is well configured and can be reached before actually executing the playbook. Once the playbook execution starts, the workflow details page is available. Every row in this page represents a single task on a host, and it tells you the exit status for this task. It is also possible to select a row and read additional details about this exit status. I will show you better in a few moments. The whole Ansible output is also written in the job log to have a complete view of the playbook execution. Now I want to show you a practical example on how an Ansible job can be integrated in a job stream. We want to install a DWC on a remote host, but we don't know the IP of this remote machine. So first script will retrieve the IP host for us, and it will write it in a file that then Ansible can use as an inventory. Once the Ansible ends, a file transfer job will retrieve the download, will retrieve the installation logs to better analyze them on our local machine, and a command to start the DWC is sent to this remote host. So let's start with seeing the job stream. We have first the script that retrieves the host, then the Ansible execution. Once Ansible ends, if it has ended in a successful state, we'll also start the console. Otherwise, and regardless of the end state of Ansible, we will retrieve the logs. Let's see how we can define an Ansible job using this plugin. We have one tab. The first area gives you the possibility to write the path to the playbook. You don't need to remember it because you can also search it inside the file system of the dynamic agent. And I will show you in a moment how this works. Regarding the environment variables, we can specify here the values for all the variables that the playbook may contain. Regarding the inventory, we can search them in the file system as well, starting from the path written in this field. And we can select multiple inventories. I also want you to notice that this file, host.txt, I've written inside the inventory section, is not present in this list because it is the previous script that will create this file for us. Going back to the playbook path, in this case, I can't select multiple files, but I can select only one because we are executing only one playbook. The last section are the other options. This checkbox refers to the ping command I was talking about before. If this box is selected, Ansible is forced to ping all hosts before actually calling the Ansible playbook command. If one host is unreachable, the job will go into an abandoned state and it won't execute the playbook. This other text area, you can write an inventory on the fly. This content is stored inside a file, temporary file, that is then deleted once the Ansible execution ends. It's also useful here to pass some exported variables from previous jobs. In the other parameters section, you have the possibility to add some parameters to the playbook command, like verbose if we need a more detailed log, or tags if we want to run play and plays and tasks that are tagged with the values I could write after. And so this is everything you need to write to have an Ansible job. So while this job stream starts, the first one is starting, and I don't see the other ones. Maybe because I don't need this filter. Sorry about that. Okay, so the other ones also are started. This page, as you can see, is unreachable because the DWC is not installed yet. When the Ansible job starts, we can go in the workflow details and see what is happening at this moment. We can see that these no steps are already terminated. At this moment, we have two tasks that were completed. This one in an OK state, so everything is OK. This one in a changed state, so it means that it has actually performed some changes on the remote machine. Selecting this, we can click on the button to have some other information about the exit status. In this case, there is nothing more to show. While the console is being installed, I want to show you the actual playbook I'm executing. You see that in the first listing of the content of the folder, I don't have this host file that was created by the first script. The host file is like this. I have a local group that contains only one host, the local one, another group remote that contains the remote machine I want to install the DWC on. This is the playbook, is currently in execution. It's composed by two plays. The first one is executed towards all the hosts in the remote group, and the tasks to execute are taken inside from this role. The role is another concept made available by Ansible to group tasks that may belong to the same topic. The second task, the second play, is executed towards all the hosts in the local group, in our case only the local host, and it will create a directory that will then contain the installation logs of our console. You see here I've used a variable and its value, the return its value in the job definition I've shown you before. The tasks I'm executing to install the console are specified in this folder. The first one is the main, that includes the actual file that contains the tasks. It's composed of 3 tasks. I first create a directory if it doesn't exist. Then I archive the zip file containing everything that the DWC needs to be installed. This zip file is already present on the remote machine, but I could have easily downloaded it from some remote repository. And then I just send the command to install the DWC. Let's go what has happened so far. This page is now refreshing, and we see that this completed in a successful state. So everything was fine. If we want to see the job log, here we have the whole Ansible output, and it's also written in here the actual command that has been executed from using the Ansible command line. Let's go see our job stream, what point it has reached. It has terminated, so I have everything I wanted. I also have this new created logs folder that contains our installation logs, and it tells us that everything was completed successfully. Indeed, if we go on our site, the console was successfully installed. I want to show you as the last thing the Ansible output properties that can be used for subsequent jobs. We have 2 kinds of output properties, even if there seems quite a few. I can, okay, no, too much, sorry. Okay. The first kind tells us the state that a particular host has exited for a particular status. So in our example, the host localhost has ended in a changed state for the task create directory for the logs that is contained in the play written inside two sharp characters. The second kind of output properties tells us a list of hosts that has exited with a particular state for a particular task. So in our example, with the status changed and the tasks installed TWC, the remote machine has ended in this state. We also have the size of such list. If we had selected the ping option and we had some unreachable hosts, we won't have all these output properties. We would have only these two ones, the unreachable and unreachable size. And the unreachable would have been filled with the list of hosts that were actually unreachable and the size of this list. I've terminated my presentation. If you have any question, you can make them now or after my colleague presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, because I do. The example that you showed, Ludovica, the playbook was on the agent side of things. So the playbook wasn't shown within the job definition. Is that correct?
No. Yes, you just, in the job definition, you only put the path to the playbook. You mean this one?
Yeah.
But you can use parameters to pass some variable.
Yes,
okay.
Sure.
So the point we decided for that, so for other plugins, we have the two options. So refer to a local file or to include, embed directly in this case, the playbook inside. The reason we decide that is because usually you tend to use with Ansible a common repository and you don't want to move them in the job. And on the other side, it does not reduce a lot the requirements on the agent side, because we require in this case to run the agents where Ansible engine is installed. So
yes.
Yeah, it's not like a Kubernetes job or an executable where you may want to run something without the prerequisite to have the script local or a very small local prerequisites.
Okay, so the Ansible environment has to have everything defined in terms of both the playbooks and also the inventories as well. Is that correct? And then the calls are made from the new job type.
You need to have the playbooks available on the same machine where Ansible engine is available. About the inventory, you can decide. So that's why we have the field at the bottom where you can specify the inventory manually. And that was important to have the possibility to pass the list, generate the list of machines from previous jobs, especially all with the variable tables.
So, okay, by doing this, you then override any inventory that's defined within the playbook.
Usually you don't define the inventory directly in the playbook, and you pass the inventory in a separate file.
Right.
Yes, if we go back to the slide, the command is like this. In -i, we specify a path to an inventory, and there can be one or multiples. And then at the end, there is the path to the playbook. In the playbook, I just refer to the group of hosts I want to execute a specific play on. But in the playbook, I just written remote. The meaning of the remote word must be in one of the inventories. like
Okay.
a group or an host that is called remote.
Okay, so
For this reason, yes.
As an IWS administrator, if I was talking to an Ansible administrator, what I would say is, this is what we're going to execute with the Ansible playbook, and these are the flags. If you can provide that information or ensure that that works and then provide the information back, then creating that as a job as a repeatable kind of function is pretty easy then.
And the integration is directly with Ansible engine, Ansible core. So Tower is not required here.
No.
That can be an option, but in that case, you have the Tower CLI to integrate directly with Tower. So it was more critical to have this integration, lower level integration. So you can leverage any kind of playbook for Ansible directly orchestrated work automation. And that's part of a larger flow, an end-to-end flow where you want to perform other actions.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, where Tower is useful is where you can integrate it into the dashboard so that you can see everything that's going on the Ansible side as well as the TWS side. Okay. One other thing, and this is kind of generic across both the Ansible and the Kubernetes side, is now that the new job types are within the automation hub, could you explain the installation process of the new job types?
The installation is documented also on the automation hub, so it's quite easy. It's the same that we already had since Man 1, I think. It's basically, you just need to copy download the plugins, the job files of the plugins, and put there in a directory on the master. If you have the backup masters, of course, you have to do the same for all the backups. But and the plugin is automatically propagated to the DWC and to the agents. And in case ZOS, you have to install them on the DWC server because that's where the ZOS connector is available.
Okay, so it has to be installed both sides, both on the manager side and also on the agent side as well, for the dynamic agent.
For dynamic agents, no. Dynamic agents automatically download them from the broker, so you just need to install on the master.
Oh, okay. So it's just
that is true also for the centric agents.
Yeah, but
also
you have to install on the
download it on the yes, correct.
Okay, great. And John has a question as well, which is: are there any plans to integrate with Git? You can pull a playbook from Git first.
Yeah, that can be just a curl. So from GitHub, you can just download the raw file or use the Git command line. So that's quite easy. We don't have right now a plugin specific for that. I'm looking how we can integrate in a more automatic way. But for a job type, it's for sure it's possible to make a plugin, but it's even with command lines, it's quite easy. Or even with the RESTful job, for example, you can make use the RESTful job to make a GET and download the file in that way.
Or that piece can be done from Ansible as well.
Yeah.
So Ansible can pull it from Git as part of the Ansible playbook command. So that you can set up a repository within Ansible. That's directly in Ansible within Tower that integrates with Git so that you can store all your playbooks in one place. Okay.
Another important point about this plugin. So Ludovica has joined our team just in September, and that was her first work with a colleague, and in less than 1 month they've developed this plugin. So using the new SDK, that's quite easy to create new plugins. If you have developers in your organization, that's something that you can do for your internal applications and provides similar interfaces. And all the information how to develop new plugins is now available also on the automation app.
Okay, great. If there are no other questions, then let's carry on to the next piece. Over to you, Branko.